Hello again, and we have a very sad news today about the passing away of our big synthesizer hero, Vangelis. He passed away this week, 9 years old. Too early, always too early. And yeah, it's definitely a sad news. Yeah, so I played a little bit of the Sparrow song from Vangelis. And so let's see, I have still, here are we back with the screen. I made a little Prisma split point. So Prisma has in the lower section the pad, a bit pad sound. And then I have from the bit, I have the of the CS Vangelis. So I recreated this sound for B.I.T. the moment when we released it. And it's a typical Vangelis sound, a kind of harp sound he plays on the CS8, which has also aftertouch and a particular sound. And yeah, I'm not sure if you guys all heard it, but sad news is that Vangelis passed away this at the start of the week at age 79. And of course, it's a big loss for yeah, for the whole synthesizer loving and composing people, because I think he is one of the biggest composer of the last century. In terms, if you look to the music he created, it's not only synthesizer music, he made film score music, he created music with John Evangelist, which is essentially the same sound. You know this one? It's also CS80 sound. So yeah, so it's a sad day for synthesizer world. We had the passing away of Klaus Schulze, 26 April last month, and now again sad news for the whole synthesizer loving world that the biggest composer went away and passed away. It's it's gutted. It's terrible, isn't it? So I played in the start a little bit of his Spiral song. Yeah, that was the first song I heard from Vangelis, Spiral. At that time, bought the album, and of course, it's The Unknown Man. It's the cool thing about Vangelis. Of course, he was a autodidact. Everything he played, he was a marvelous keyboard player, and everything did he learn by his own, and he was absolutely brilliant. Yes, it's very sad news. So that's one thing I wanted to start of this live stream in remembrance of Vangelis, and of course inspiration for everybody. I mean, and you see here in B.I.T. we have a CS Vangelis sound, and of course this big synth sound is from Blade Runner. I think I created also not fully 100% the same, but it's more inspired on the Blade. Oh no, that's another one. So now I need to go to this one. No, where I'm now in the totally different synth I'm playing now. Okay, that's complicated. I'm changing the wrong synth. So everybody knows the Let's see where we have it. I think maybe in this one should be. No. Now you see Princeton. Yeah, he passed away some years ago. Also brilliant musician, multi-instrumentalist, which Vangelis also was, by the way. He not only played keyboard, but he also did a lot of other instruments. So these big CS80 synths. Strange thing, he plays in C sharp minor or major, so very much on the black keys. Yeah, Chariots of Fire, that's another one, brilliant piece of album with very nice music. China is brilliant. Arctic. Yeah, there's so many. Of course, so many great albums of his. Yes, guys. So yeah. So that a little bit about the passing away of Vangelis. Terrible. Yeah, and then we had, of course, Klaus Schulze, who passed away, and we did last Saturday on eLive a event in Eindhoven. Ron Boots and myself did a Klaus Schulze tribute, which went very well, was very nice, and we all enjoyed it, and that went went very cool. I don't think that we will do a Vangelis tribute because that's a bit harder. Than you really need to play his songs instead of improvising, because Klaus Schulze was far more improvising music. But what I have for you today, and that's cool, because Mike, his artist name is Ma Trix, Mike, made some 3 Schulze presets, which are very cool, sequence sounds, and you can download them for Predator 3. He said, okay, you may download, make it available for the other peoples. I could not use it in the live gig because it has a different feel to it in the things I was building. But here we have then Klaus Schulze 1 or Klaus Schulze 2 oder 2, Klaus Schulze 3, Klaus Schulze 3. So it's the bank called 030 Ma Trix Schulze. So if you copy Unzip and you copied it over to the bank folder, it's in the description below the YouTube video. Then you will have the 3 Klaus Schulze sounds. So let me play them. Yeah, isn't that cool? So that's the first one. The second one is this one. Schulze 2, and let's play this third one, and this one. can't see, maybe to combine it, because I have here a tempo. Not sure if this combines with the background I have. So this is number 3. Let's go back to number 2. These are 3 cool sequence sounds you can download from the info section for Predator 3. And yeah, you can unzip and copy this folder with 3 presets. And maybe Ma Trix will do some more presets and we can add them to this bank in the future. So thanks, Mike, for that we could share it. So that's very cool. So let's check the chat room. Yeah, everybody is a bit depressed about the passing away of Vangelis. He was 79 when he passed, yeah. And I regularly go to Greece on holiday, or that's my main holiday country. And Vangelis was from Greece, and you could hear that in particular also in his music. I can recall when I first heard Vangelis, I found it very bombastic, huge sound. If you compare that to, for instance, a Kraftwerk or Jean-Michel Jarre or Attention Dream, but he has its own sound. And yeah, absolutely a fantastic musician, composer, and his music will live on. That's something for sure. I mean, who doesn't play Chariots of Fire? It's really became some classic music. I think in terms of film composers, you have, of course, the big names, Ennio Morricone, the one from Star Wars, doesn't pop up the name. Oh, terrible. And of course, Vangelis also, they really created iconic music. Yeah, I see some questions. One, yeah, synthetic robotic, why making a synthesizer in the form of a cockpit of a fighter plane? Yeah, that's a cool idea, because I love planes, and of course, as a kid, I always wanted to be a pilot, but then I saw Jean-Michel Jarre, and that looked like on television, it looked like a big cockpit with all cables, knobs, dials, and there was also this amazing sound. So there was the plan to being a pilot. So that was far more exciting for me, the sound that came out of these synthesizers. Yeah, that would be cool. Of course, you can. Not sure if if you can have them much features, but yes, if you have a synth like B.I.T, that could be an option. So like this. Not too many knobs, not too many dials, and to make it a cockpit synthesizer. Yeah, that will be fun. Oh, Johan, you were there? Serious? Oh, did you say hello to me? I'm not sure. Yeah, Johan, I was there in Eindhoven. I see so many names, sometimes I mess up. Oh yeah, I can recall. Stupid. Yeah. You don't, in the chat room, you don't see a face with it. So, yeah, it was fun. E-Day in Eindhoven, if you like electronic music, it's very nice. It's a small event. They have 150 to up to 170 people can be in the concert room. They have several concerts, and in November, if I'm not wrong, there's another event. Okay. So I'm checking the chat room, which is up there. So what's the news? Yeah, we currently are busy working on new plugins. We have a very nice surprise next month for you in June, because then we are 25 years as a brand. So that's going to be cool. And it's for everybody. Will be this a very nice surprise. Then, of course, we are working on Blue 3, which it's planned for the end of the year, but that's still a lot of work. We are clear in all the features. Now, John is building up the user interface so that we can see how the final user interface should be. And that's going well. So, and then we, of course, once we release Blue 3, we also have some other interesting things for you. But that will take a couple of months, but all in good progress and, of course, going well. Okay, so we have this month. So I would like to have, and that's maybe for some of them in the chat room, not so exciting, but I want to talk about Rockkick. Rockkick is very popular among EDM producers, hardcore, hardstyle producers. And so if you see this one, here we have Rockkick. And it was very low. This is the default preset, and it's very low in its low end. So now the beat is a little bit low. Let's go to 124. So I have a little bass, but this kick is very low. Now without the kick, the bass. The bass is Predator 3. This one is playing the bass today. Classic 12. Dark bass. But listen how deep this kick is. I hope you play this on good speakers, or maybe you have your headphones, or watching YouTube or in your studio. That's the best thing to do, because then you can hear the sounds with your studio monitors. It's very deep. Yeah. Yeah. I always say the chat room. Yeah, Johan. Yeah. I did not make the connection with this Johan in the chat room. So, but yeah, sure, I understand. You were sitting next to me and helping out on eLive. Cool. Yeah. We had fun. Very late dinner after the show. And it was a lot of work, but it was enjoyable, and of course a great tribute to Klaus Schulze, which was also for the electronic music really one of the ground founders, especially for the Berlin School of Music. Yes, it's deep. Niklas is also there, or graphic artist Nicolas. Cool. Is the kick tuned? Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see how the kick is tuned. Could well be. Yeah, I see it here. Keyboard. Oh, okay, and let's see how deep we are. Oh, I'm playing a C1. Ha, that's pretty low. C1s. If I left, right. Okay, now you see here is the editor. And you see it's C1. I do a cycle, so it's way too low. If you would play this on, but this is more musical, I think. Now I have the kick the same tuning as the bass. The bass is playing F. Yeah, it's F. Yeah, it's the same pitch. Yeah, that's the cool thing, of course, with... Okay. That's without the bass. So you could even use this as a bass. So if you have Rockkick, this is only one layer. So essentially this is a drum synthesizer. And you see here, you have 3 layers. Layer 1, layer 2, you can put it on, visible. So you click on, and of course I click it off. So 3 layers and a main. So you can make a kick building up from 3 layers. Now I'm using only 1 layer, and it uses here a model. Layer 1 using a model. You also can use a sample, but a model is essentially like how a 808 or more a 909 creates a kick. So it's a sinus tone, which you see down here, and you have a very fast pitch going down. So picture with a big bass drum, the same happens. You hit with the beater, you hit a real bass drum, and essentially the skin does from a very high pitch movement to a low movement, which generates this sound. And that's what you simulate. So here you see this curve. If I change this one here, and that's not a bass drum, it's more Star Wars, peep, peep, peep. So you need to have a good curve to get this click. And the click you can change by changing the start point, giving them higher or lower. Hear that? So this is how the pitch changes, but there is also a volume contour. And you see the volume contour has also even a hold. What some people do with a compressor on, let's say, if you have an 808 and want to have the tone longer so that more does, then you need a compressor. Well, we don't need a compressor for this kind of stuff inside Rockkick, because essentially you control how the volume contour is. So it stays, essentially the pitch goes down, but you see the volume stays more up. So I can make it shorter or very long. Hear that? Then I get a woo woo. So it's up to your personal taste. And then of course the pitch goes down, but also the volume. So this, by changing this one and this one, you can create already trillion kick drums. So you are in control in creating, and simply 1 layer. I mean, make it a bit longer. And then we also have a different tones. You get a high tone or a low tone. That's a different sound, isn't it? This is more. And now you can have your little click. So this pitch has influence on the sound. Which sound, if you want a low or more high click, it has influence, and how the volume is. So you see here, it's a sinus waveform. And so I like the low one. And this is very clean. So if you want to say, okay, I want to have some distortion, well, we have here the raw distortion, which is phase distortion. It's very aggressive. If you think, okay, that's a little bit too much, then you also can have here in the filter, we can put off or on the filter, and you can have a pre-filter distortion. Then you have essentially a little bit what an analog circuit does, because an analog circuit always has a little bit of distortion. So here you can add some little bit of distortion, or what the 80 or 90 producers did, they pulled up the gain from the mixer. And then you already have a very nice, 80s, no, not 80s, 90s kick. So if you have a higher beat. And then the fun part, it's still tuned. So you can use it as a bass. So this is the pre-filter distortion, but there's far more. What is cool, it's far more that what I heard back from the hardcore, these producers like Promo, and somebody mentioned General Geibel, but DJ Promo, Freak, and also other hardcore producers, which create a lot of presets for raw kick. Dutch producers, but also some English producers really loved raw kick because there they can control so much. And they gave the idea that they use a lot of pre-EQ and post-EQ. So pre-EQ before the distortion and post-EQ, and they really lift up some frequencies so that it really starts singing around. And I had the idea essentially that if we not only use the EQ for making these other harmonics so that the distortion goes very different, is to use the harmonics of the waveform. So instead of going here only with a sinus waveform, put some distortion here, is that we can use harmonics. To change the sound. And now you get, and it's still very sweet and nice as it is sounding now. They go very extreme, but instead of using the EQ, I use now the harmonics. And the cool thing about it is that, for instance, if you use the modulation wheel, you can say in the modulation wheel, control from the user wave from layer 1. So I can say partial number 12, was it, or number 13. I can go make that one go up. Here you see it. You see it there? There it is. So I can use also. So that's also cool. So you have far more options with raw kick than with any drum synthesizer. This is so cool that you can change the harmonics, and especially with distortion. This is important. So if I go a little bit down or in the volume and I go extreme. Yeah, and if you think, okay, I only want to have this one, you know, the very extreme, this one. Now that's very extreme, and then you miss the body. Now, what you can do, of course, is that with raw kick, you say, okay, I take an extra layer, and this layer does then more the body of the sound. So here it is again. This is the I'm changing it a little bit here. And then I use this one. And so you can, this way, and of course this is not the sound they tweak so much. It's just an example of what you can do. So don't judge me if this is the right hardcore or hardstyle bass for, but I think when you are producing these type of music, you will get my point in what I'm doing. So and then you still, I can shut down this layer and still layer 1 and still use the post EQ and the distortions here. Okay, but that's, you can go so extreme. And then post EQ, after the distortion, you again can EQ. And maybe you think, oh, this is cool, band 4. It's cool to change that one. And that's the cool thing with the, that you can say modulation wheel and control with your modulation wheel from the EQ. Post EQ, the band 4 it was. Band 4 frequency. Okay. Oh no, that's wrong. Having the wrong one. logic that I don't hear it. Post EQ layer 1. Because each layer has also its own. So I'm in the wrong layer. Layer 3 is not active. So layer FX2. No, EQ, sorry. Layer 1 EQ, where are you? Layer 1 EQ. Here it is. Layer 1 post EQ. And then now it should work. Oh, it should go down. Negative amount. You only don't see it move. That's maybe something we can do in the update. I'm changing it now by the modulation wheel, but so each layer has a filter, post EQ, pre-EQ, 2FX, and then this again for layer 2 and layer 3. And then you have the master, and in the master, you can see here we have layer 1. You still can do a lot of stuff. You have mono stereo splitter, so that's in some cases that works. If you use your own samples, they make it at the low end a bit nicer. So there's a mono stereo split filter is inside of it. Again, on the master, also a pre and post EQ. So there's so much possible. And on the play mode, we also have a legato mode. Talking about making weird bass drums, you can really make a bass drum go over into a bass sound. Yeah, the 90 Eurodance kick drums were essentially most of the time a 909. Definitely. So if I go back to the default preset. So default preset, where are you? Oh, here it is. Okay. Production. Oh, why? Oh, okay. Not sure why I didn't take it, but here it is again. So yeah, what you could do then is, for instance, using a sample and simply pick one of the original samples. Okay. And here you see no sample, and here down here you need to download the sample. And let me see, odd stuff, electronic bass drum. Yeah, here we have some 808, 909 samples. So this is a typical 909. See? Maybe a bit higher. But if you use this one, then the distortion, then you get this, this should be a little bit higher. Then you have the typical 90 sound. A little bit of distortion. This is the clean one, and then a little bit of distortion. So, yeah, and layering kick drums, they already did that in that time. So sometimes you have the typical click. Some had a really typical click bass drum, but I'm not sure how they created that one. So here you see the introduction bank, favorites, it's the same bank manager. You see Kane has some. This is what you hear, the screaming. And what they even use, they go even with the volume, and then you overbeat it. If I'm not wrong. Let me see, I'm going to the back panel. Big screen, faster graphics. No. Yeah, we have a warning here. You can read that one here. It's very important, especially I think more for your neighbors. If you use raw kick, I pity your neighbors. That woke me up. Yeah, that's a wake up call. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So you see all these artists, Frontliner, Ganja and Ruin, Sinister Souls, The Playa, I always pronounce it wrong. Ah! Yeah, it's a really brutal kick, isn't it? I should go down with the volume. Oi, 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 oi. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's that's why we have in the bank manager. If you go to a bank, chicane warning, loud bank, because yeah, it flips out of it, isn't it? Oh. Yeah. But still, it's an amazing popular product. It does very well. The only thing we still need to do is looking for animated dials, and that you also can see the EQ moving, but that will pop up. And of course, a bigger screen version. We have this big screen version, is what you're seeing now, but we don't have yet a 200% version, so that's still in progress. There are still a few products which we did not have the 200% version, but it will pop up over time. Okay. I'm checking the chat room. Does anybody has a question about raw kick? Just let me know. Yeah, this relayer view, that's also indeed cool, but there are also other sounds inside of it. I even made R&B hip-hop, which is of course also cool, especially because it's tuned. So, and I think also with some tuned percussion. So there are also pretty much clean sounds on board. EDM is is also very nice. That's some EDM kicks. So it's a very versatile. It's I think for many, it's not only for the hardcore, hardstyle or drum and bass guys. It's also for regular other house producers. Yeah, Voltage Disciple, which was also in the chat room. Wait, those some presets. I'm not sure if he's still in the chat room. Richard from Voltage Disciple. I saw him somewhere. Yeah, your voice is a bit too low. Yeah, sorry. I can make my voice a bit louder. So is this better? Yeah, Noiser, they used raw. They made a nice demo with raw. I think also raw kick. And of course, this is a very different product compared to other products like B.I.T or Predator 3. But that's we make music and products, musical products for all styles of music. And I found it personally always a challenge to discover how the producers approaches things. So with raw kick, it was for me also an eye opener that they use pre-EQ before the distortion and post-EQ, and that gave me the idea after I saw what they did with the EQ to create here the waveforms. So it has a lot of options. So and these three layers means that you can combine also. So in this, the bank manager, especially with the hip hop R&B. Here you see it. It's a kick combined with a. If you click on the note, you can audition it. It's a combination of layer 1 and this one. It's a tambourine. more an FX sound, of course. But it's in there, so it's... Oh, this one has the kitchen. This one has the... This is my kitchen drawer. Yeah, really. I hear this all day. Then I'm upstairs, and then you hear the kitchen drawer. And you can detune it, of course, if you're going to add it. So this is a combination of sample and synthesis, or you can say 3 samples or 3 times synthesis, and each layer, so I have no layer 2, each layer has its own filter, its own LFO, its own pre-post EQ, its own 2FX, so it's very, very extended, very, lots of features. Okay, I'm checking the chat room. Sorry for being silent. Sorry for destroying your hearings. Yeah, another little tip I might give you is if you go over here, if you use raw kick, if you go over the layer, you can also copy a layer to another layer. So that if you think, okay, first I start with this one, and then I add the second one, I detune that one. So there are also little neat features on that side. Yeah. Okay, let me see in the manager. Real kicks. Yeah, if you maybe something because disco type of sound. This is a real kicks. Still tuned. I hear weird things, weird side effect. Not sure what that is. These are real kicks. This orchestral. Yeah, this is very dry kick. If you think, oh, I need more a Lin drum computer kick. That one, not that one. This, something like this. And you still can change the sample. So if you think I should make it shorter or tune it. And then you can combine it with a layer. What sometimes it was a real synth kick to give it really body. Yeah, so options enough. And of course, it's particular focusing on a particular style of music, but 80s, yeah, 80s kick, definitely. I think there's a whole bunch of it. It's a nice long room. Now this is a very dry one. Old disco bass drum. Yeah, a layer of Brownsville kitchen drawer layer, IKEA. Yeah, that would be a good name. So, so I think if you use the samples, you see here you have home, and then you can see all the snares. You can use your own imported samples, but we have, of course, some artist samples, odd stuff, and odd stuff is, I think, has also the. Let's see. So if I use the right mouse button, I can audition. drink glass. That's a nice one. Bamboo. That is Bruce Lee. We have Bruce Lee inside. Hear that? So if you are looking for Bruce Lee, you find it in a raw kick. These are things we really recorded here in the studio with a bamboo stick, 2 microphones, and yeah. Gong, the big gong. Also a nice one. So that was a bass drum. Yeah, you see, this by the eye is meaning that you added a layer. So now I can edit layer 1, and now I can layer 2. Kitchen drawer, here they are. It's not IKEA, but it's another brand. This one. These are lo-fi. Yeah, that's the room upstairs. And of course, my wife said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm recording." The wipe sound in the original M1. Was it there inside the M1? I had an M1. I should be. Oh, I also recorded a pole, which is a few streets further. This one. Also nice. So, and then you can go to the right. Yeah, you see there's even more. Yeah, that's cool. This one is cool, isn't it? So, I mean, there's so much. So, this is up. So here we have the artist, Odd Stuff. I was in Odd Stuff, electronic bass drum. So these are samples which are also already pre-installed, which you can use to create your own bass drums. And then you also can use imported samples, then do a drag and drop, which I have a snare as an example. Sometimes in the past, that was also a trick in the 80s, I think they did that, to have a snare. Use that in combination with the kick. I got some weird kick sound. It's a bit like a room. So yeah, so features, endless features, and it's essentially pretty straightforward. So a layer, you have 3 layers. Layers is a model, then you have a synthesizer model, or you use samples, and down here you have directories, and you can load a lot of stuff. Once you have a cool sound, of course, you need to save it. Go up here and then save preset in folder. Go create your own folder, because we have the bank manager. Here you can say create your own folder, and then if you have a nice preset, you go here and then save preset in folder and give it your own name, and this is how you can collect your own stuff. I'm checking up here. Is there anybody maybe with a question about raw kick? It's a whole different theme today than we regular do. A lot of synth sounds, but I thought, yeah, we have raw kick month and raw month. Next week, I most likely will do another raw. And so if you are maybe having a question, yeah, just let me know. And I'm checking here the chat room. Yeah, it's cool. Now I know Johan, which is Johan from the chat room. It's Johan, which I met last Saturday. And of course, I also hope to meet once or someday Gert Bruins. If he when in November, I'm planning to be also on eLive and hopefully having another album ready. So that will be cool. Yeah, Rit the artist says, I have really underestimated the great capabilities of capability. I cannot pronounce that. Of Rockig. Yeah, I think it's me to blame because I have to create far more tutorials about it. But it's the problem is that tutorials take so much time. So maybe I should do a bit more, making a live stream and then simply upload that to the raw kick. Because yeah, there's so much inside of it. But it's also with the other products. I still need to create far more preset tutorials about Predator 3 and okay, yeah, cool guys. Yes, I'm here with my mouse. I'm checking here if there is anything else I might have forgotten with Rawkick. We have, of course, the back panel where you can shut down program change. These things, computer up down for the next preset. Yeah, we have the option show dials for if you don't like the graphic, you can click here and then you have dials instead of graphics. I think you also can select it here. Yeah, so you can make it dials or graphics, but I think graphics are nicer. Okay, guys, so I would say thanks for watching. Gonna have a little break now. It was a long day. And yeah, in the download section below, you can download the 3 presets that Mike created, Ma Trix with the Klaus Schulze sequencer. So I hope you enjoy them. Mike, thanks you for creating them. And yeah, and just another question. The release date, yeah, well, it's planned for end of this year, so we are working hard on Blue 3. It will have the physical model thing, which you will find from Subwoof Base 2. It will have granular. You can load your own samples. It will have new samples from ourselves. The wave sequencing will be a bit different. User interface will be bigger, of course, also different. A lot of new sounds, so it's gonna be cool. And yeah, raw kick in your music. Yeah, well, maybe you simply should ignore the upper order banks and go more in the real kicks and the R and B kicks. I'm not sure if there's any. We'll go down. Examples. Yeah, we have the analog kicks. So there's still, I mean, apart from the hardcore and hard style, there's far more possible, of course, with rocking. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. And if you can subscribe to my channel. And it seems that if you click on this little bell icon, that you get a far earlier a notification that a video is up or that I'm live with live streaming. Another question pop up. How to make a metallic kick Terminator? Oh, I have to hear that. That's something for next week. Synthetic robotics. We can check that next week. Okay. Thanks. Bye, guys, and enjoy creating music.